Hey everybody, we are doing a part 2 of our jobs video, our on the road jobs video.
Remote work.
That's right. It was so popular and we got so many questions that we really felt the need to address this topic more in depth and talk about some stuff we did not talk about in the first video. But if you haven't watched the first video, a lot of people have. Please go watch that.
It also gave us the fuel for this one. So many of you watched the first one, asked so many questions that were awesome questions. We took your questions and we put them into this part 2. So we're hoping to give you lots of ideas, whether it's full-time, part-time, sometime, whether you're skilled or not. I think there's something you can take away from this one as well.
Yeah, and in case you don't know us, I am Barry, this is Darlene, and we've been on the road full-time now for about 2 years, and we've been working from home, actually, believe it or not, since 2006.
Yeah, the OGs of remote homework.
yeah. And people always ask, what do you guys do? We're in digital marketing. So I was doing marketing related work even before there was social media. So I've just kind of stayed in that field for many years and started working from home in that. Actually, when we very first started, we started working from home, really doing freelance work. And then I've went back and forth. I've owned ad agencies myself. Actually, I owned an agency with Darlene. I owned an agency with other partners. I've been a freelancer, like I said, and I've done, now I just have more traditional job, if you could call it that, working for a pretty small company that's based out of Florida. But of course, I travel on the road. So that's what I do. And then Darlene.
Well, very similar. He told you we had the agency for years. Oh, and by the way, if you're brand new and you don't know what this is about, I had a little accident. You can go watch the video.
Watch the video.
But little update, guys. I had my last scans today, and within the next day or two, I should find out if I can take it off. Woo woo. So
that's still having some pain.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it's mostly from the concussion than it is the neck. So that's probably a good sign. It's just going to take a little while.
Takes a long time to heal.
Yeah. So, but back to the jobs thing. So the last company that I worked for, most of you, if you watched the first video, I did that video because I was laid off after working for a company for 5 years as their marketing manager. Barry and I both do marketing, obviously. I was let go suddenly, and it was a little unexpected. So I had that facing being 52 at the time, starting over trying to find a job. And man, you guys, it was really frustrating, right? So I had a decision to make. Do I just keep grinding it out on Indeed and trying to find remote work again, trying to find a company that will be cool with the fact that I'm traveling in an RV? But I ended up going a different route. But the research I did along the way is what I love sharing with you guys, because it's going to give you so many different ideas. But I ended up putting everything into this channel. So that's the route I took. I don't know if I would recommend it, but a little later, we're going to tell you a little bit more about that in case you're curious about the whole,
the YouTube channel,
the YouTube thing, the content creation, that whole bit. But that's the direction I ended up going. But there's so many more ideas that I came across that I think will fit the bill for a lot of you guys. So I think having worked for companies who employ remote workers, I mean, my company that I last worked for, we were 100% remote. We hired a lot of people from those who are super skilled, like internet, like IT, to customer service people, which we trained. So you didn't need to be super skilled as long as you had a good personality, had a good solid internet. That's the kind of person we would hire. So I think that fits a lot of you out there.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you said that, because that brings to mind, I do work for a small company. I think we have around 30 employees. And I started with this company about 3 years ago. And it was a company that I actually was a customer of. I work for a fishing company. I'll just kind of leave it at that. It's into saltwater fishing. And I was getting real into that personally. And so I followed their channel, and I really liked what they did as a company. They really helped me out as a customer. And so with my marketing background, I just approached them. I just went to them and just said, hey, here's my background. I love what you guys do. I'm a customer. And one thing led to another. I got the job and I've been there for the last 3 years. And, so that would be one suggestion that I would have right out of the gate would be, because Darlene talked about going the Indeed route. In the downside with Indeed, of course, is that's where everybody goes. And so if you were to approach a company that you just like, that maybe you've done a lot of business with, maybe you know the owner or they might know of you, might approach them.
Yeah, you don't know until you ask. And it can be said of your current job too. There may be positions within your own company that you're at now that may be more open to a remote position. Maybe you could move around. You'd be surprised. We had a lot of people chime in the comments saying, don't forget to ask. Don't just assume your company will never let you travel. They may, especially if you're part-time, you're just going to like snowbird it, or you're going to half the year it, or maybe a few months at a time. They may let you take that show on the road if knowing that you're going to come back. So there's two ways of looking at it. There's the full-time aspect, and there's some of you that are more part-time. So you might be able to work with the job that you have. So one of the most challenging things when you're looking for a remote job is you want to just go to Google and put remote customer service, right? Or remote bookkeeping, or whatever it is that you have an interest in. Problem is, it's so big, it pulls from every job site out there, especially if you use Google, that there's too many. It's too many, and then you have to filter it down by ones that were posted in the last 2 days, and then it's just so much work. It was driving me crazy when I was doing it. Or it's requiring you to put a city in, and you're like, well, I'm in a different city all the time, but that doesn't make any sense to put in because I don't want to work in a city, right? So I found some sites that allow it basically only remote work comes up, and then it allows a lot more filtering to help you find something more specific to you that is remote. Okay, so the first one is Let's Work Remotely. And all of this information, all the links will be in the description, and I'll put it on the screen. Yeah, so you'll definitely want to kind of go there after you watch the whole video, because I think I'll give you so many ideas. Make a note of which ones are most interesting to you so that you can go back and find the right one. So Let's Work Remotely. They have a whole remote jobs section there. I just got on there and kind of looked around. It's rather easy to use, so much easier than like Indeed and that kind of stuff. And it really helps you narrow down and gives you all the different categories that you might have an interest in. Because sometimes when you're thinking, well, I have some skills, maybe you worked in your past in different fields, but you don't know what that's equivalent to in a remote job, it's going to help you find where you want to start looking. So it's going to help you there. Another one is Flex Jobs. Now, Flex Jobs, I think, is really interesting. I'm going to get to some of the medical. So one of the big ones, I had a lot of nurses, a lot of people working in the medical profession, things like that were like, how do I make that transition? And I'll give you some ideas in a minute, but Flex Jobs had a lot of that. So keep that in mind. But it helps you narrow down the search, keeps it more focused. It's a lot more easy to manage than the big job sites. So that's something you can try first.
Okay, so these are just going to be some ideas of jobs that you could look at where there's just a lot of need out there for this type of thing. One of them is definitely customer service. And one type of company that needs a lot of customer service are credit card companies. And so, you could just kind of, if you could sort of narrow it down there, they're just kind of looking for reliable people that maybe have good people skills, that can talk on the phone and just help direct people. I know with my company, even, like I said, we only have 30 employees, but I think we have 4 of them are in customer service.
Yeah.
Because we take, our customers are very important to us. We want to make sure that they're taken care of, and we need good, responsible, sort of people with empathy that can help our customers get what they need.
And they'll probably train you. And it's especially with I would think the credit card companies, they probably have a way for you to search how to help somebody right on the spot. They're usually very, very well organized. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. And then now another one is virtual assistants. I can think of so many companies that I've worked for. I've even had sort of virtual assistants of my own.
Yeah.
And don't let the name throw you. It's an assistant.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the more that you have on your plate. If you're like the VP of a certain company and you need an assistant, right, to take care of a whole bunch of other things that are important, but you don't need to be doing them as the VP of that company. So a virtual assistant is just a person who does it,
digitally. It's
digitally.
digital tasks. So
Yeah.
they're going to give you digital tasks for you to do. Maybe it has something to do with spreadsheets. Maybe it's just online research. It can be so many things. Call these numbers and ask this question.
Yeah.
There's no telling what a virtual assistant can be asked to do, but it's actually kind of exciting and keeps things fresh when you're doing new stuff all the time. So it's something that some of you guys really might enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you have any kind of maybe, a secretarial type background or something like that, where you just know how to take care of people or to make sure that the boss has what he needs to get things done, and you can do it from home and you can do it from a computer and a phone or on a Zoom.
Yeah.
People like, especially leaders, people that they like to be able to hand things off and go handle it, take care of it, and the people that can just do that.
And these are positions you can search for in like those virtual remote job, websites. These are the things you would go search for and find those jobs. So I can't tell you, oh, go here exactly, but these are the topics: the customer service, virtual assistants, and
okay. So let's talk about medical stuff now. We don't know much about the medical industry, so this is something we definitely researched. So there are a few titles that we found that seem to be certainly apt to have remote positions available.
And these came from, so my nurses out there were like, I don't want to be a travel nurse, but I have that background, or I worked in a hospital, or I worked as an, whatever, and you have some sort of medical background, but you want to be online and not actually in the hospitals. These are the things that people in the comments said they did. And in our research that I went and looked, and I found a lot of sites, and they were just like, there was a ton of them. So,
okay. So one of them is medical coder.
Mm-hmm.
The other is risk adjuster. Mental health. That's big. If you have any kind of mental health background, I mean, we've all seen all those ads.
Like BetterHelp, and what are the other ones that they're mental health providers that meet with people online?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
like
unfortunately, since COVID, it's like a lot of people have mental health issues that they need help with, and so there's a lot of need for that. Patient navigator. That was one that of our comments.
Yeah.
Somebody chimed in. They said they actually do this on the road. Mm-hmm. This is a job that they found, and that where they prep patient charts for physicians and hospitals, etc.
Yeah. So that's obviously, if you're going to be going in to have a surgery, it's basically a person who preps all the information so that the physician, the hospital, the surgeon, everybody has all of it in one place, and it's ready to go when they get there to do the procedure or whatever. So I think that's pretty important. So pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to break in here real quick and remind you, we are having a giveaway this month of a new set of SnapPads. SnapPads are awesome. I think all RVs should have them. It was a day one purchase for us. I think of them as these nice, comfortable shoes for your RV to rest its feet on.
Yeah, protect its feet. I think that's a big one. But it gives you that stability no matter what surface you're on, and it protects your jack feet. So we love them. We've used them. I mean, think about it, guys. We're on sand, we're on dirt, we're on grass, we're boondocking, we're in parks. We're in a park right now that's gravel. So, but it really does help give you a bigger footprint underneath and protect those jacks when you're out on the road. So, you got to register to win, though.
That's right. So go to likethere'snotomorrow.net. The link is below, and just sign up. All you got to do is put your email address in there, and we will draw one lucky winner by the end of September. Now, while we're on that topic, and we're on the topic of working, Darlene is fully in charge of our YouTube channel. She alluded to that before, but that's essentially her job. So it would help us out if you would like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And it does help us.
It does. It really, really does. When you like a video, if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe so you get notified. Especially if you ring the bell icon, that'll actually tell you when we post a video up on YouTube. But sharing it with the people you know. If you like this information, or you have other RVers that you know might like it, tell them about it. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook too, so you can always share those posts with people there. But it does help, and we appreciate it, all the support you're already showing us. We've been overwhelmed with how much we've grown since January when we started this, and we can't thank you enough.
So let's talk about the YouTube channel thing. It's an elephant in the room.
It is. People ask about it all the time. Like, oh, how's that going? Are you making any money? And it's kind of a hard thing to address. I will tell you right now, if you're not familiar with the ins and outs of marketing online, it's going to be harder for you if you want to go that route. But I will tell you, the video editing is so time consuming. Not only that, just the shooting of the videos and all, it's super time consuming. I feel like I'm working just as hard, if not harder and longer than when I had my job.
Yeah, but that's going to be typical with if you're trying to start any new business
Yeah.
venture, right? I mean, this is really no different in that, you're probably going to have to, if you don't have some money saved up, or if you don't have another income source like me, I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
We pretty much, when Darlene lost her job, that we had actually already started the channel and we started seeing some momentum, and we said, let's do this. Let's go ahead and take this time, because, and we've said it before, I'm not going to belabor the point, but the good thing about RV living, especially when you can boondock a lot, is you have the option of basically going and living rent free in certain places, and which you don't have that option if you live in a regular sticks and bricks home.
So we basically decided at the very beginning I would try it for a few months and see if I could move the needle, and I started to move the needle. But I did tons of research. I have watched endless hours of training videos teaching me how to be a better content creator on YouTube, how to branch it over into social. We also have a blog. We are now having sponsors, and that is a whole other time consuming thing. And so I always tell people, if you just want to share your adventures, just do whatever you want to do and enjoy it. If you want it to make money for you, you have to be willing to put in the work and learn what the algorithm wants, learn, keyword research. I mean, it becomes more of a job, and maybe that's not for you, especially if you're just wanting to share the cool places you go to. We do both. I am a marketer, so I totally enjoy trying to learn this stuff and expand it and make it bigger and better, reach more people and see more people like you guys on the road. And so it really is a full-time job for me, and then some. But it can produce money. It's going to take a while. You got to have that other income or some money put back to get you there. We know people that have had channels for years and are still barely getting there. So you may have to put in that much time. I feel like we have been very strategic in how we approached our channel, and I feel like we maybe got there a little faster than some do, but it is nonstop. It's every day. It is a job. So
it's a lot of work. But, and we're also on kind of a timetable too, because, I just turned 54. And so, retirement is closer than it used to be. And, so we have limited time because Darlene could just go out and get a regular, decent paying job because she's been a professional most of her life. And so we have to look at this. It's like, look, if this doesn't replace your salary in about a year, we may have to
be able to do it.
think twice about this.
So that's why we're so gung-ho about the channel and giving it everything we have, giving you guys everything we have content-wise. And I do believe we're going to get there to replace my income that I had at the previous job, probably sometime next year. But it takes work, but it is fun. I gotta say, meeting new people who follow your channel and you have like-minded things. There's been tons of you that reach out and like, we're from Florida, we're empty nesters, we're getting going. Thanks for the info. Now you all of a sudden have this community that builds, and it's kind of awesome. So if you're that kind of person, you're willing to put in the work, it could come to an income stream that could be significant, or it may be just a little extra money for you, and that may be totally fine. But you're definitely going to have to learn how to do it. And there's so much stuff on the internet to do that on. Just YouTube it.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be another RV YouTube channel.
No.
I mean, there are so many people out there that have so many skills and so many things to say and things to teach, or things to, interesting topics that, it's just, niche research, all that kind of stuff. But again, if you're gonna start from scratch,
Yeah,
it's a long road.
it is. It is. So that is an avenue you might consider. But we got more for you. Okay, so the next one, again, several of you in the comments of the last video chimed in and said that you were social media monitors. And we can totally relate to this because our companies
100%.
need people to do this. And all you're doing here, I'll just read you kind of like what they say it is. So moderators help ensure content meets brand guidelines. So if you're doing this for a company, a person, it could be a lot of different things, that you are keeping their voice, you're answering things to where their guidelines and their company policies are reflected. Again, maybe you're monitoring for bad guys in the groups. You don't need the bad guys, so they need somebody to go in and delete them and ban them, if they're not contributing in a positive way to the community, and just flagging things like that. And then a lot of times it's usually monitoring questions that come in private message and then filtering those to the appropriate people within the company that can answer that, or giving you the answer. So social media monitors, I mean, our company used them before.
Our company absolutely uses
Yeah.
one. In fact, the woman that does our social media also does a hunting, because remember I work for a fishing company. She also does it for a hunting company. She is like Miss Outdoors woman, and she is awesome. Because she knows a lot about social media, but she knows a lot about fishing and she knows a lot about hunting.
Yeah.
So I mean, she is absolutely perfect for that job.
Yeah. And all you have to do is use that social media monitor in your searches, whichever sites that you choose to go to. Again, the remote sites I showed you. There is also one that I came across. It's called Mod Squad, and I'll put the link in the description. And they specialize in that particular social media monitor placement of people. So basically companies come to them and then they find the people to go to be their social media monitors. So that might be a good resource for you.
Okay, so far we've talked about a whole bunch of stuff where you're going to be sitting on your butt in front of a computer all day long. And if we haven't lost you yet because of that,
hopefully not.
And you're a type that wants to work with your hands, you want to get outside and do stuff, which I often think about doing that kind of thing because I never have. Anyway, it would be one, and we've talked about this before, so we're not going to belabor the point, but is becoming either an inspector or becoming a mobile tech. And I can just say, the pain in my wallet that I felt just today we paid a mobile tech $450 just today to fix a problem that
we couldn't fix.
That I tried to fix over the weekend.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out. And I hired that guy. He showed up on time, got the job done, and I'm totally happy. We have a 100% success rate with mobile techs.
Yeah.
And we've used quite a few in the last 2 years. So what I have to say is if
you do have to get certified. You do have fees.
Absolutely.
You will have some upfront. But we actually have a couple that we met at the Alliance rally that both went to the NRVTA down in Texas and got certified. And that's what they're going to eventually do on the road is mobile tech service. So it is definitely something, if you can take their training. I'm going to put the link to their online trainings. And even if you're not wanting to be a tech or an inspector or whatever, and you just want to know how to fix your rig, because that's going to save you money.
Yeah, $450.
Check that out, because the home study course is quite thorough, as well as if you went there and took their program too. So link below.
So let's move on. Now, this is a really cool job that I didn't really know that existed, but it makes total sense.
Totally does.
Which is RV transport. So I have this stupid expensive truck. It's the most expensive truck that I've ever owned. And I have this really expensive hitch that goes in it so I can pull this one RV. But if I wanted to, I could pull other people's RVs and get paid to do it.
Yeah.
So if you have a truck, but you're probably going to need a CDL. We'll let you go to some of these websites. We have there's just a few that we're going to put down below, but there are others.
There's a lot. Yeah.
And they'll give the requirements on what they expect of either a CDL or not. But definitely something worth looking into. Yeah,
and it's interesting. They do different ways. So they have the guys that tow it using their trucks, drop it off, pick it up point A, drop it off point B. You're done. They also have those who drive, like it would be Class A's, B's, C's. You would have to get yourself back. So most likely you would attach a tow to the back and have that to drive back once you deliver it to the place. That would be my guess. So there's two different options that they list on these websites. And they also list out all the different, what they require of you. I mean, some of them are drug tests, some of them are health tests, some of them, they all have different requirements. Some are looser than others. But
so are you an employee of these companies?
no, you're not an employee. I think you're a contractor. Unless it kind of made it sound like if you do a really good job, you're going to get more work. So I think it's a foot in the door that could turn into something more regular if you wanted it to. But again, this is not our area of expertise. I just researched this. I read a lot of job boards, and this is one that came up. And these three particular companies came up quite a bit. So that's what I'm sharing with you. So if you have an interest in that, go down to the description, pull those companies, and go check it out. Okay, I think this next one is so cool. So everybody knows RVers love their drones, right?
Except me.
And we haven't
I
really
have
taken
one
the
and
time.
I don't know how to use it.
Yeah, so those of you who have drones and have your 107 license, there is a company called Drone Base who hires people with drones who have licenses to go out and do jobs for them. So I thought this was really, really cool. So you would go to the website, and I'll put the link below. You would register, and you register where you're at. So they're doing it by your location. So obviously, if you're moving around a lot, you're going to need to update it, because you could be hired, so we're in Colorado Springs. So maybe there's a construction site that needs somebody to come Monday through Friday and do the drone filming of the progress of the site, over an certain amount of time. So you might go every day, you might go once a week, and it's basically to show the progress, and it's probably for insurance reasons too. Or it might just be someone wanting a drone pilot to come and go around a certain property line and just report back. I mean, it could be so many different things, but this company finds the drone operators all across the country for the businesses who need the drone work done. So this isn't like do a drone of my house for a real estate agent. Most likely it's not that. So you don't have to have really fancy skills. But I think the more you do it and the more jobs you get under your profile, the higher it will pay, because you'll become a trusted drone pilot. So I saw that it's like $27 to $47 an hour, I guess, just depending on each situation. So what I recommend, if you're just interested in that in any way, go to that website. They have a whole about page, how it works. Just read through it, and you'll probably be able to decide if it's right for you.
We hope that you've gotten some really good ideas from this video. And if you haven't already, please go back and watch our first video that was a lot of people have seen. One thing that we can just say is, if you watch these two videos and you do the work and you do the research and just start making, sending out the applications, whatever you do, there is a job out there for you. I would definitely have it worked out before you leave. Don't just go out there in the hope and a prayer, unless you have just a whole bunch of money set back, and it's no big deal unless if you don't work for a year. Most people are probably not in that position, but if you are, God love you. But yeah, so I would definitely, because we do say that this life is great. It's awesome. A lot of people want to do it. They say they want to do it. They're not quite sure how they want to make it work.
Yeah.
But you do need to have money. You have to have money put aside. You're going to have unexpected expenses, like $450 repairs that you weren't expecting a week ago. So you've got to be prepared for that kind of stuff. So don't go out there on a wing and a prayer, but don't
have a plan. Yeah.
Don't lose hope that if you're not finding something, just keep looking.
Yeah.
You'll find something.
Yeah, we've given you tons of resources. Go down in the description of both videos, start clicking on some of those websites, start checking it out. And I just had so many people, I want to do this lifestyle, or I have a flexible job, but my wife does not, or vice versa. And we're not sure what to do, but we really want to go on the road. You really want to go on the road, guys. Make it happen. Do the work. Figure it out, because the rewards are so great. So we hope this inspires you, and we hope to see you out on the road.
Bye.
Bye.